From the National Newsroom of the Canadian Press, I'm Karen Rebo. As Liberal Party officials begin to chart a course for an expedited race to find Justin Trudeau's successor, potential contenders for Liberal leader and Prime Minister are weighing whether to join the fray. They include ex-central banker Mark Carney. The former governor of the Bank of Canada and the Bank of England issued a statement last night saying he's encouraged by the support he's hearing and he's considering his decision with family over the next few days. Party officials are expected to meet this week to begin the process for selecting the new leader. From west to east, Canada's premiers are reacting to Prime Minister Justin Trudeau announcing plans to step down once the Liberals choose a new leader.
In Alberta, Premier Daniel Smith made it clear that Trudeau's resignation wasn't enough and an election must be called.
I think that would have been the better outcome, and it would have allowed for the Prime Minister to go to the public and see whether or not they support his agenda of the last number of years.
Ontario Premier Doug Ford said as long as Trudeau's Prime Minister, he must be focused on dealing with President-elect Donald Trump's threats of tariffs on Canadian goods.
We need all hands on deck. We need the Prime Minister to continue doing his job. Prorogation doesn't mean vacation.
In Newfoundland and Labrador, Premier Andrew Furey applauded Trudeau's steady hand during times of crisis, such as the COVID-19 pandemic. David Bowles, The Canadian Press.
After a criminal trial that stretched out over a year until it wrapped up in September, 2 Freedom Convoy organizers will learn their fate in about 2 months. An Ontario judge will deliver verdicts in Ottawa against Chris Barber and Tamara Leach on March 12th. Each is co-accused of mischief, intimidation, and counseling people to break the law with their 3-week demonstration in downtown Ottawa in early 2022. The Crown tried to prove they conspired to hold Ottawa residents hostage with their noise and blockades to fight pandemic public health policies and the government. The defense argues the 2 accused simply exercised their fundamental rights to assembly and expression as part of a legal protest. A new study published in the Marine Ecology Progress series highlights a sea sponge's response to its changing environment off the coast of BC. Data has revealed the animals have the human-like ability to sneeze. Researcher Sally Lays says her team examined footage that was captured over 4 years by seafloor cameras to study the animal's response to the changing climate and weather patterns.
The first summer and the fall, it was quite clear this was a pretty active critter. And I was blown away at how active it was, because when you're diving, you're looking at a thing it's like your plant in the garden. It's like, there it is, it's there today, there tomorrow. But this thing was bouncing up and down and doing all kinds of things.
She says they observed the sponge doing slow-motion sneeze-like contractions that lasted about a day as it cleared out debris accumulated while it was filter feeding. From this is the Canadian Press. In sports, Nick Suzuki scored a power play goal 48 seconds into overtime as the Montreal Canadiens beat the Vancouver Canucks 5-4 in their return home from a 5-game road trip. Lane Hudson added a goal and 2 assists as Montreal moved into a playoff spot for the first time this season. The Habs have won 8 of 10 games, and Hudson hopes they can keep on rolling.
It's pretty special. I mean, it's just great to be back home and, play that way in front of the fans, be relentless.
There are 10 games on tonight's NHL schedule with 5 Canadian teams in action. The Edmonton Oilers will aim to win their 4th in a row when they visit the Boston Bruins. The Detroit Red Wings will host the Ottawa Senators, while the Toronto Maple Leafs will take their 4-game win streak to Philadelphia. The Winnipeg Jets will host Nashville, and the Calgary Flames visit the Anaheim Ducks. The Toronto Raptors' struggles continue. They fell 128-104 to the visiting Milwaukee Bucks last night. The Raptors have lost 13 of their past 14. From the Canadian Press, I'm Karen Rebo.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to follow and subscribe. For more of today's top stories, visit thecanadianpressnews.ca.